Hello BookTube, hello Tudorverse. Welcome back to Tudortember. Welcome back to Poetry Thursday in Tudortember. And these two things together are just a delight. Last week I covered Thomas Wyatt's Who's So List to Hunt. This week it's got to be Elizabeth. I did have a moment where I considered one of her earlier poems, the one that she wrote while she was being held captive at Woodstock, the one that got her pen and paper taken away, the one whose final two lines she carved into the window pane with a diamond, much suspected by me, nothing proved can be. You would think that I would choose that because that's where I got the title for the first book in my new series about her, but instead I'm going to choose the poem that from which I drew the title of what will be the second book in the series, What Love E'er Meant. This is a poem. It is much more heartfelt, much more beautiful, much more get you in the gut. It was written on Monsieur's departure. So Elizabeth's reign can be divided into two halves. The first half, where she was eligible to make a political marriage. And that was really all about the children, because let's face it, in truth, if you have a political marriage, it's all about the next generation. It is all about putting someone in place to have a child that will then remain loyal to whatever country they're coming from. Think of Mary Tudor and how she naturally and completely and crazily favored Spain over France, and how that was always going to be the case because her mother was Catherine of Aragon. So that is what kids do in terms of an alliance. That's why you want to have a marriage for the next generation. Otherwise, you really could just sign the treaty if it was going to be something temporary like that. So the first half of her reign, where she was able to make a political marriage, and then the second half of her reign, where all the people, countries, divisions, whatever you want to call them, who were a little bit cowed by her ability to move against them with a political marriage, they all came against her. And that's really where her Gloriana legend was born. Right in between those two. So right as she's nearing the end of that whole thing, she makes one last attempt to use the full house, essentially, in cards that she has to Spain's bothering her. She's considering marrying France. She's just found out that a marriage based on personal preference. She's just found out that Robert Dudley married Lettice Knollys, so that is not an option. This is going to be her one chance, and as it turns out, she does walk away from it for a bunch of reasons. Less personal than you would think, because Alençon actually came to visit. First, he sent his gentleman, Jean de Simier, who was extremely charming, and Elizabeth got along very well with him, then got along very well with Alençon. But there was no way that the country was going to accept, at this point, a foreign husband. There's probably no way they were ever going to accept a foreign husband. Probably no way they were ever going to accept anyone that she would have wanted to marry, Robert Dudley. She, at this point in her life, she realizes that she had made the decision to never marry, and now she's just starting to realize what it's going to cost her. And that's why I say it's really kind of gut-wrenching. So she wrote this poem on Monsieur's departure right after she sent annonçons away. So I grieve and dare not show my discontent. I love and yet am forced to seem to hate. I do, yet dare not say I ever meant. I seem stark mute, but inwardly do prate. I am and not. I freeze and yet am burned, since from myself another self I turned. My care is like my shadow in the sun, follows me flying, flies when I pursue it, stands and lies by me, doth what I have done. His too familiar care doth make me rue it. No means I find to rid him from my breast, till by the end of things it be suppressed. Some gentler passions slide into my mind, for I am soft and made of melting snow. Or be more cruel, love, and be so kind. Let me or float or sink, be high or low, or let me live with some more sweet content, or die, and so forget what love e'er meant. Thank you for watching.